Hello there. A long time no see. Um, I wish I could have made a video under better circumstances, more happy circumstances, but I felt that I needed I needed to address this because it's a huge deal for me. It's a huge deal for a lot of people, obviously, but it just Akira Toriyama meant a lot to me. Um, like to so many people. He just changed our lives. Like he influenced us and inspired us so much, so much. Like personally, reading Dragon Ball as a kid, I think the first volume of Dragon Ball that I owned was Volume 7, which was when they were fighting the Red Ribbon Army and the pirate robot and stuff like that, Krillin and Goku. And then they fought General Blue. I think that was the first volume of Dragon Ball that I had ever read. And reading it made me feel like, oh wow, not only, and I've said this before on the channel, but not only is this like um, amazing, but it's what I want to do with my life. Like draw and create comic books and create characters and stories. Um, that's what I want to do. And it didn't quite work out that way for me, at least not yet. I keep trying, I keep drawing. I don't know if I'll ever get there, but it's still fun to draw. It still brings me joy when I draw, even if it doesn't reach that many people when I post online or whatever. Um, that almost doesn't matter because when I do it, I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying myself, um, and I owe all of that to Akira Toriyama completely, just to him because this is mainly a One Piece channel. I talk about other manga as well in case you come across this video and you've never seen me before, which is very likely. If you come across the video at all, that is. Um, but I This is mainly a One Piece channel, and I talk about like Dan to Dan and Hunter x Hunter, other various manga, and but besides One Piece, Dragon Ball is definitely my biggest inspiration to draw, to be an artist. And I know that that's the same for a lot of people, like a lot of artists. So many artists read Dragon Ball and were like, "Oh, I want to be like Akira Toriyama," you know. Oh man, it's such a bummer that he died. It's funny, the first volume of Dragon Ball that I read was volume 7, but the first image of Dragon Ball that I ever saw was actually a Dragon Ball Z image, and I must have been like really young, like maybe like 7 or 8. And I was living in France at the time. I used to live in France. My family used to live in France when I was a little kid, and we had just gotten to France. And when it came to manga and anime at that point in time, France was actually ahead of America. Like they would like Dragon Ball and like One Piece and Naruto, all that stuff like was in France before it came to America. Because I remember when I first moved back to America in like the early 2000s, I was like, damn, there isn't that much manga available at like comic book stores and stuff like that. Like I was just like, where's all the manga? There was some manga, but there wasn't like a lot of manga. But luckily, as the years went on, America caught up, and now America is probably ahead of France or ahead of most people. I mean, I guess most people get stuff at the same time now, but anyway, I digress. Um, Yeah, so I was walking down a street in France in Cannes, and I walked by a video game store, and in the door of the video game store was a Dragon Ball poster. It was a Dragon Ball Z poster, and it was like a representation of the Buu saga. And I remember a lot of the characters were in Super Saiyan mode, and at the forefront were Trunks and Goten, and they were doing the fusion dance, and that was the poster. And I remember looking at that and be like, "Holy shit, what is that? Like, that looks kind of sick. Like, wow." I remember thinking it was weird that like their eyes are like attached to their eyebrows when they're in Super Saiyan mode, or some characters are just look like that. I remember thinking that's kind of a strange look, but I got used to it, and now I love it, obviously. But like, um, yeah, yeah. I mean, that was my first time seeing Dragon Ball before I even knew anything about Dragon Ball. And then I would watch it on TV. I would watch Dragon Ball Z, and then I started reading the manga, and then I started reading the manga. Um, and I love the manga so much. Like it inspired me so much. Like if you look at my art, obviously, I don't come up to Akira Toriyama's fucking knee. You know, like I suck at drawing compared to Toriyama. But if you look at my art, like you can see the Dragon Ball influence. Like it looks like people tell me all the time when they like comment on my stuff on my Instagram, mainly on Instagram. That's the app that I get the most response from people on. Um, but people have told me your stuff looks like Dragon Ball, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, that makes sense. People have told me my stuff looks like One Piece too, which makes sense too because again, Dragon Ball and One Piece, the two manga that have inspired me the most, and Dragon Ball was before One Piece that it started inspiring me, and it also led to One Piece. Like it's like the father of One Piece. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to. I don't know. I don't know how long I'm gonna keep going on, but I just wanted to acknowledge Akira Toriyama, to put something out in the universe that like that just is a thank you. Is a thank you for everything. And yeah, yeah. I hope I can meet you in the afterlife. You know, like that's how much I love Akira Toriyama. Um yeah, so I guess I'll just end the video here. I don't want to go on for too long, but I did want to just share a few words. Was there anything else I wanted to mention? Oh yeah, I think there was. So maybe I won't end the video here. I just had one other thing I wanted to say, which is right before I started making this video, I started thinking, wow, like I love Dragon Ball so much, and then I started thinking, wait a second, or like I love Akira Toriyama so much, and I was like, wait a second, I've read like a lot of Akira Toriyama stuff. Like I've read. So here's the thing: I've read most of Dragon Ball. I haven't actually read all of Dragon Ball, which is astonishing to me. There are like a few volumes in I've read all of Dragon Ball Z, I guess if you want to call it that. But Dragon Ball, there's like a couple volumes, like one or two volumes that I've never actually sat down and read. And then same thing for Doctor Slump. There's a lot of volumes of Doctor Slump that I've never read. And then I think he's done various other one shot manga. I've read some of his one shots. Um, I remember there was a volume, like a collection of all his one shots. I read that. Um, but anyway, all that to say, I have not read everything that this man has published. And I regret that, especially now that he's gone. I regret that because it's something that I've been putting off and putting off for years and years and years. Um, like when I think about it, I actually am way more familiar with Dragon Ball Z than Dragon Ball. And I think a lot of people might be like that. Um, but I'm very familiar with Dragon Ball as well. Don't get me wrong. I love Dragon Ball. I've read the vast majority of it. But there are certain points, certain details that I don't remember very well. So maybe I'll do a rereading Dragon Ball uh, uh, series on this channel. I'm doing rereading One Piece, rereading Hunter x Hunter, rereading Dragon Ball. I want to do rereading a lot of stuff, and I want to start reading some new stuff too. Um, but yeah, if you want to check out my work, I'll have some links in the description box, um, so you can see how Akira Toriyama has influenced me. Um, God, it's such a bummer that he's dead. It's such a bummer. And like one last point before I end the video. Apparently he had I think it's called a subdural hematoma, and apparently that means that he had he had bleeding in his head, like between his skull and his brain. There was like a lot of blood that accumulated, and that's what killed him. But apparently that mainly happens um, with head injuries. So I guess he fell down, or like I don't know what could have happened, but maybe he hit his head really bad, and he's 68, so he's not super young. I mean, he's definitely too young to die, but he's not like a spring chicken or anything like that. Um, so yeah, so I'm just worried. I don't know, like announcing that that's what he died from raises questions, and it's like, damn, like what happened, bro? Like, because he definitely died too soon. Definitely died way too soon. So yeah, so on that note, I'm going to end the video. If you watched me talk about Akira Toriyama, the great Akira Toriyama, for 12 minutes and a half, thank you very much. I'll try to come out with some more videos, more frequently this year, and for the foreseeable future. I don't really have anything better to do at the moment, so I should probably spend some time trying to grow my YouTube channel. Um, Maybe that could turn into something that would be amazing. But yeah, thank you so much, Akira Toriyama-Sensei. You meant the world to me. You mean the world to me. You've always inspired me for my entire life, and you continue to inspire me and a lot of people all over the world. So, yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the very near future. Have a good one.